Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the 38th episode of my Black Ops 2 weapon guide. This time, we're covering the M1216. Black Ops 2 marks this unusual automatic shotgun's first appearance in the Call of Duty series, and it is unlocked at level 52. The SRM Arms M1216 is a relatively new weapon, having only seen introduction in 2012. Of US origin, the design is unusual for its rotary magazine design. Instead of a conventional fixed tube, it has 4 fixed together in a rotating group. This extends the weapon's capacity tetrafold, and allows the real variant to quickly switch between 4 different types of 12-gauge ammunition as the situation dictates. While this does increase weight, it does grant 4 tubes of 4 rounds in a single weapon, for 16 rounds in total. Such high capacity and flexibility in ammunition types holds appeal for police units and tactical use, similar to the KSG, with its 14 rounds spread across switchable twin-tube mags. In-game, per-shot damage is high by most standards, but the lowest for the shotgun class. While the M12 is certainly capable of one-shot kills, it's not wise to rely on them. Range is particularly limited, with the weapon's reach identical to the S12's at joint bottom of the shotgun league. This means the M1216 is very much a close-range weapon, as one might expect from a shotgun, and like most others in its class, its penetration ability is very poor. The M1216's key strength is in its output. As the only fully automatic shotgun, it spews shells at a rate of 468 rounds per minute. Due to the unique nature of the weapon's magazine, however, you may only fire 4 shots at this rate, before the weapon requires rechambering. The process takes a little over half a second, leaving you unable to fire and thus vulnerable. So, it's worth firing a full salvo of 4 shots every time, to ensure maximum lethality, and to otherwise prepare for another full set of shots. With the rechamber, your total output is limited to a sustained rate of around 225 rounds per minute, lower than the S12's potential output, but still a respectable enough deluge of buckshot for your enemy to contend with. Hipfire performance is acceptable, on par with the other buckshot firing shotguns, but for optimum pellet spread, you should be aiming down your sights. Recoil is moderate, and as such your aim may stray during the 4-round flurry of shots. But this is compensated for with your shot spread, and so is seldom a factor when engaging close-range targets. Aim time is slightly faster than usual for the class, and the same as a typical SMG, at 200 milliseconds. Your mobility is good too. Like the other shotguns, you'll move at 100% of the base speed. As mentioned, the M1216's magazine is slightly unusual. While you will enjoy 16 rounds between reloads, this is split into 4 separate tubes, with each transition requiring a rechamber. This means you essentially get a set of 4x4 round bursts, with extended clip granting 5 such bursts, for a total of 20 rounds between reloads. Reloads are quite slow, only slightly faster than the S12's, at 3 seconds flat to resupply. Compared to the half-second rechamber, a full reload can be quite dangerous to perform in the open, so it's wise to keep all 4 tubes topped up when you're able. With a shotgun, it can be tempting to opt for the usual pairing of the long barrel and laser sight, and such a combo will maximise your per-shot lethality with the M1216, and will help you to attain the one-shot kills needed for the camouflage challenges. However, the M1216's rapid output, faster aim time, and shorter range means it's the shotgun that benefits the least from such a route. The weapon offers greater flexibility and the freedom to explore other potential builds. One such viable option is stealth. A suppressor might harm your ranged ability, but the rapid follow-up shots of the M1216 mean it's perhaps the best performing suppressed shotgun on offer. However, our build of the M1216 is loud and proud, true to the intent of a shotgun. A street sweeper class, intended to clear rooms and assert your interior dominance. Our first choice is extended clip, granting an extra 25% per magazine for 5 salvos per reload instead of 4. This is a relatively low absolute benefit compared to the typical 35% increase, but the extra 4 rounds come into play much more often with the M1216, with an extra burst often proving decisive. 20 rounds per mag grants better ability in rapid-paced serial engagements, increasing the odds of turning fury kills into frenzies. Shotguns work best in the thick of it, tight interior locations for where you'll perform best. When tackling entrenched foes, you might run foul of their defenses, so Flak Jacket can be a godsend to soak up the damage from a claymore or bouncing Betty. This perk will mean you can rush headlong towards your engagement with aplomb, shrugging off any explosive resistance. Next up, Fast Hands will speed up your equipment use and weapon switching, two traits that prove useful when operating close to your enemy. Room clearing can be made easier with judicious use of equipment, and a secondary weapon can also be put to good use when you find your shotgun out of its element. Perk 3 Greed permits two choices from the final perk tier, for two options designed for resilience while ousting enemies from their perch. First up is Tactical Mask, protecting you from the effects of in-place shock charges and permitting aggressive use of concussion or flash grenades. Always a nice complement to Flak Jacket, Tac Mask is a must for any class that could benefit from a little extra resilience. We pair it with Engineer, this perk granting you sight through walls, highlighting potential enemy defensive positions, and giving you a cue to sweep the area. While Flak Jacket and Tac Mask will bear the brunt of enemy equipment, knowing their location before you enter will help you to plan your moves. And the delayed fuse on enemy explosives will help avoid unnecessary damage, which could harm your odds of winning any gunfight. Next, we take either 2 flashbangs or 2 concussion grenades, both powerful tools when used in the right circumstance. Toss one in an occupied room to blind or immobilize any opponent within, and you'll be almost guaranteed to come out on top in the inevitable gunfight that follows. When it comes to eroding enemy hardpoints, there's nothing better than a whirling dervish of buckshot paired with resistive perks and effective use of your tactical grenades. Finally, we equip a secondary of your choice, ideally something with decent mid-range potential, such as the 5.7 or Cap 40. Paired with Fast Hands, you'll have a rapid switching backup for when your shotgun's mag is empty, and the longer reach will help fill the void outside of the M1216's relatively short comfort zone. That's our build, a class designed for consistent close-range performance, capable of clearing out defensive positions and repelling any counterattack. Such an approach is just one of the ways you can employ the M1216. It is perhaps the most versatile of the shotguns, rivaled only by the S12. Whether you choose to embrace speed, stealth, or sheer damage, the 4-round burst of the M1216 ensures consistency. While the odds of a one-shot kill are very slim, spewing 32 pellets per salvo will liberally pepper any close-range opponent with enough lead to ensure a kill. The M1216 is a very consistent shotgun, less reliant on attaining a one-shot kill courtesy of its relatively high rate of fire. Within its effective range, 4 shots is almost always enough to eliminate an opponent, with such a flurry of buckshot overwhelming any weapon outside of the shotgun category. Rechambering the next 4 rounds is an inconvenience, but at just half a second it's not often a fatal one, so with the element of surprise on your side, you can still compete in serial engagements, sending politely allotted salvos in each enemy's way. Of course, the longer reload time might mean you need to take a breather every few kills, so keep an eye on your count to ensure you're not left with 4 empty tubes. While the weapon may be consistent, it can sometimes be left wanting for grasp. With such a limited effective range, you will need to get close to your enemy to be effective. In addition, sending 4 shots downrange where a conventional shotgun might need only 1 is wasteful. Any build without scavenger might leave you without supply on longer streaks. Still, once you're accustomed to its limitations, you'll start to warm to the M1216's predictable performance. And within the right terrain, you'll tread the opposition into the dirt. So, if you need some more traction in close-quarter gunfights, this 4x4 will easily pull through. Thanks for watching, this has been Xbox Ahoy. Join me next week when I'll be covering the XPR 50. Until then, farewell.